Welcome to Living Your Path. I am Cecile Ferry, a coach and astrologer. I'm here to guide you on how to live and work in alignment with your true self so you can find fulfillment and serenity. Hello my beautiful people, and welcome to your Cosmic Catch-Up for week commencing the 16th of March. What an interesting week we are having. What a beautiful gift of a week with what's happening astrologically. So this week is like a tale of two different parts, if you like. And one is about the end of the road, and then we are going to start over. So this week is actually the end of the year. Did you know it? In March, because by the end of the week, we will be entering into Aries season, and that marks the beginning of the new astrological year. So you can imagine it feels like being in the last week of December, astrologically speaking. And we are going to close off the year and we are going to start over. So let me start with the first half of that. So we are still in Pisces season. We've got a couple more days, and by the end of the week, that will change. If you haven't done so already, I really recommend that you focus on having the next couple of days to be yin days. I was looking back myself. I've really aced Pisces season this year. It helps being off work. But I've definitely done a lot of those activities in flow with the planets. I've gone to several musical concerts, classical. I have been swimming. I've gone to the ocean, just by the sea. I've been watching some French movies because there's a festival on, getting that creative side activated. I've been doing some yin yoga. So all those activities, just really focus on that this week until Friday. And also focus on your spiritual practices because the energy will really support you. We have at the moment the Sun, Mars, Mercury, in the North Node in Pisces, and the Moon joins the party tomorrow on Tuesday. That is a lot of Pisces energy. So if you feel a little dreamy, if you see people around you that seem dreamy, that's why it is happening. And your dreams might be particularly potent and vivid right now. So a couple more days of reflection. Imagine like you are in that in between Christmas and New Year's time, and you've got a bit of time to lull. Hopefully in your life, it's not crazy. Hopefully you don't have a very big jam-packed schedule with lots of yang meetings and energies and requests, because that will feel a little tiresome for you, because the energy is kind of saying to you, why don't we just dwell a little bit? Why don't we just stay in meditation, we dissolve, we ponder, we listen to our dreams. This is a week where you will feel still very emotional and led by your feelings and your sensitivity and your intuition. So don't miss that window by just going gangbusters, going to the shops and doing a million things, because that's a beautiful gift, especially for creative inspiration. So if you are trying to work on something and you're stuck, this is another beautiful couple of days to make some good progress. And on Wednesday the 18th this week, Mercury will be meeting the North Node. So Mercury is still retrograde for a couple more days, and it's meeting the North Node. That means there is a karmic message on its way to you this week. So around Wednesday. So look for it. It will not come sort of in an outward fashion, coming directly probably from someone. It will come through your dreams, through your intuition, through your feelings, but it will certainly come. But therefore, just watch out. And it will just come, it will be a quiet message. It won't be a very big billboard in the sky. But it will be there to guide you towards your future growth. That's a message from the universe. So definitely a nice little nugget for all of us. And then middle of this week, we have the new moon in Pisces. So that's one of the two big events this week. It is happening in New York on Wednesday at 9:23 p.m. And for the rest of us, it's happening on the Thursday in the UK at 1:23 a.m. and in Australia around midday at 12:23 p.m. on the Thursday. So this new moon is happening at 28 degrees of Pisces, which means the end degrees, the final degrees of Pisces, which is the last degree and the last season of the zodiac. So we're really right at the end of the 12-month cycle. And we have a new moon happening right there, the sun and the moon. I think it's highly, highly symbolic. Like, why is it happening right there? It is, right? And so very soon, a couple of hours later, it will be followed by the sun entering Aries. And that will be the equinox. More on that in a minute. So before that, on the Wednesday or Thursday morning, if you are on the European or Australian side of the world, this is a very good time to take stock of the last 12 months. Imagine you're doing your end of year review and just go back to your diary, to your photos to see where you were around the same time 12 months ago, around the 16th to 20th of March, 2025. And look at where you are now and what has happened. What have you achieved and where have you grown? What lessons have you learned? Because I guarantee you, I'm sure it's been a lot and you have grown so much. So this is the opportunity to reflect, and Mercury being retrograde will help you doing that introspection work. So it's the end of a cycle, so let's mark it. A very good time, for instance, to journal or just to travel back, looking through the past and seeing, all the insights that come to you. And then we have this new moon, which is a new beginning, a new start. And it's the first quote-unquote normal moon for a while because we have been having eclipses, very powerful eclipses lately. So this one should be a little quieter, and especially being in Pisces, it's a new start, but it's not a loud, big, obvious new start. It's a subtle, very discreet, under the surface kind of new start. It's happening probably at a deep psychological, subconscious level for most of it, or on the spiritual level. Okay, so that doesn't mean it's not happening. Far, far from it. It's actually very potent in itself, but it's happening deep, and it's happening in a spiritual realm and maybe something not totally tangible. Okay, so for some of us that like to just, see things, this will feel quite like an invisible new moon, and you'd be like, nah, I felt nothing. If anything, I slept really well. But trust that things are happening behind the scenes. This is actually a beautiful new moon to manifest because it's in the sign of Pisces, which really dissolves all the boundaries and makes you be very, very close with the universe or God, the powers that you believe in. So this is a great time to dream about your vision for the next 12 months, exactly as you would around the end of December / start of January. So let yourself dream and let yourself connect with your desires and visualize what you want your life to look like over the next 12 months, because this is a brand new start and you want to plant the seed. You really want to have 2-3 core intentions of things you want to bring into your life. Imagine there is light emerging in the dark and you kind of just igniting that very subtly. But if you don't have the clarity, nothing will emerge over the next few weeks and months. So it's always led by you, by your desire and your thoughts. So spend some time with that and ask yourself, what does the new me want? If anything was possible, if I had all the means, all the time, all the money in the world that I need over the next 12 months, what would I want to happen? And really focus on you. Who is the new you that's coming out of this period, you finish, you've traveled for 12 months, you're starting again for another cycle. What does he want? What does she want? And really project yourself and don't worry about the how. That is not the point of this new moon. This is really about being close to your desires and loading them up with the feelings that are associated with them. So let yourself simmer in that. Imagine you have those things. This is the perfect energy to manifest. I will add that we have 2 supportive aspects around the same time as this new moon. The moon and the sun are forming a positive, harmonious aspect with Uranus. So that means there will be an extra spark, but that's a positive one. That will bring us some innovation, some freedom. So a nice little added bonus with all that practice of planning our future vision. And we have Mars in a harmonious aspect with Jupiter. Again, that will energize our future vision. So we have some really nice supportive energies to do it. So don't miss the boat. You might feel moody this week. You may feel particularly sensitive. And be careful, you might also really absorb and feel everyone else's emotions if you have some Pisces placement in your chart. But you also be highly, highly intuitive. So don't question that. Capture the things, the hint, especially if some of them sound a little cray-cray, like a little weird, because Uranus is in the picture. It's normal. So just don't disregard them saying this is ridiculous. Don't use your head. Just like literally use your heart and see what it speaks to you this week. So to do around this new moon on Wednesday/Thursday, journal on those intuitive hits. Meditate if you have that practice, or do any spiritual practice that you are involved in. Sleep is a really good one to do, in particular this week, and you will see your dreams will be portal of what's coming through to you. Listen to some good music, chill, be fluid. That's what you want to do. And I feel like saying, put some nice comfy pajamas and just stay home a little bit. This is all about you kind of tuning in, receiving all those energies under the surface and capturing those. And then really deciding what's your vision. And then, my friends, we enter part 2 where things change. The music changes. It's like a completely different time energetically. Mercury will end its retrograde and start moving forward. And the sun will enter Aries, which means it's the start of the new astrological year, and it's the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, and it's the autumn equinox in the southern hemisphere. So it's a portal. And we click over. And as Mercury is no longer retrograde, it's a reset. It's a fresh new start for all of us for the next 12 months, really. Where the game will change and the energy will feel different because there will be, from that point onwards, a lot of forward momentum. All planets, for starters, will be going direct. Every single one of them. For the next couple of months. So we can expect a lot of things to really shift in the world and in our lives. And then we will have nothing less than 6 planets in Aries from that day, which is Saturday the 21st in the morning in Australia, and it will be Friday the 20th. That's when the equinox happens, late at night in the US and in Europe. But basically from Saturday onwards, we are in this different phase. We are in the new year and things are on. It's not a soft, subtle start. You will feel it. There's so much energy and a lot of yang energy, which means it's the energy of let's go. It's the energy of initiation, also of courage, of fearlessness, of confidence, of passion, and quick movement. Things are going to speed up from the weekend and for the next month. So next week I will dig more into Aries season and what that feels like, but you can already notice the shift on the weekend. And I want to say, though, even if it's like a new shift and everything, the way I've described it, you might feel like, oh my God, everything's going to happen. No. If you're like, it's the beginning of a huge, different, big episode. Yes, it will be big, but that doesn't mean it goes from 0 to 100 and then it drops again. It's not a short burst. We are entering the big month this year where things are going to be shifting for you. Because by then, all the planets are direct. Most planets are in their brand new sign. There's just one left that will change at the end of April. That's Uranus. But Saturn and Neptune are in their new signs. If you like, the new games are on. Or I want to say, the fire horse will start bolting. Just keep that one in mind from this weekend. Also, when the sun arrives in Aries, it will meet with Neptune there. So again, you will feel very intuitive. I think collectively, we're all getting more tuned in. It has to be. Otherwise, you're really asleep. Right? We're getting all those beautiful, powerful, intuitive capability. And this is the time to act on our dreams. Pisces energy, we've had a lot of it, and Saturn and Neptune were in Pisces for the last few months, and they've just entered Aries now, and then the sun and the equinox arrive. This is like turning the key and starting the engine, and off we go. So this is the time to start to take some action. But before we get into that, I just want to say this isn't about impulsive action. This isn't reckless. This isn't about burning something or quitting something or making a rash decision. No, because this is happening in an important area of your life. And things are still forming. So don't worry if you're like, I don't know, I don't have the whole plan. Nobody does. But it's just a new start. Right? And you're going to feel like doing something. And it's about the person that you are becoming this year. So take your time. It doesn't have to happen overnight. Basically, as long as you're in a different space comes the calendar year of 2026, you'd have done it really, really well. And I think most of us will be there, right? But that's when things start to really pick up. So how to harness this energy for you? Look where in your life the 0 degrees of Aries is. Where is that reset? Where is that brand new fresh start? Which area of your life? So if you don't have your birth chart, book a birth chart reading with me and I will tell you and I will give it to you so you can answer that question with every future episode where I talk about where things are in your chart. And focus on that one area only of your life. So for me, it's in my house of home and family and emotional stability. It isn't about my career. It is not about my friendships. It is not about my everyday routine or about my one-on-one relationships. So I'm going to focus on my home and family life, right? That's where there is all that energy. So find what is the focal point, which part of your life, and then take one action in the direction of your dream or your new next chapter. This weekend, do one thing because it will be really easy for you. If you really channel the energy, you will feel like that momentum. So don't do 3, 4, 5, just do one. And also I recommend you move your body this weekend because Aries energy, Aries likes movement. So whatever you like to do, Pilates or go for a run or dance in your living room, like just move your body, use that energy. And so as the sun arrives there, it will meet Neptune. So it will reconnect you with your dream, but you will have the action part of it. And it will also be close to Saturn, which will help you put some structure around it. Make it, doable, buildable. Put some framework around it so that it happens. So it's very exciting. We are on the doorstep this week of things really starting and then taking off. And you watch that fire horse starting from this weekend over the next few months. So that's why I think it's really exciting. So just to recap, this was a longer episode, but spend the next few days until Wednesday night or Thursday morning in Australia to really sit in the Pisces waters and simmer in there and try to get out of stuff if you have too much in your diary right now. And just take stock and set up your vision. Connect with your intuition and listen to the karmic message on Wednesday. And then when you hit the end of the week, Friday night, Saturday morning, you will feel things are going to get a bit better on the Mercury front because things are going to work better when Mercury moves direct. And all this Aries power and energy will start to be available to us. And that is super exciting. So I want to wish you all a happy new year. I cannot wait to do the year of the fire horse with you. Year 1 in numerology, like so many new starts, so many new things coming forth in our life. We are becoming the next version of ourselves. And if you want that guidance for yourself in terms of what area of your life, what does that mean? Where am I starting over? Where do I need to focus? Book a transit reading with me so you know where all those things are happening. And finally, I want to ask you a little favor. If you've enjoyed this episode and if you enjoy them, and I know you do because I'm hearing your feedback, if you find this helpful, if you find this guidance relevant to your life and it's literally helping you week on week, I'll be very grateful if you could please share my podcast, share this episode with one friend amongst your circles that is open to astrology and is looking for guidance for their weeks, because it will help them too. We can collectively help other people see more clearly, and I think we all need it in the world that we're currently in, where there is a lot of darkness. I think we all need to know there is a North Star and we're moving forward. So thank you for your help in sharing this podcast, and have a beautiful end of the year and transition into the new astrological year. Happy New Year, everyone, and I will speak to you in Aries season next week. Bye for now. Take care.